Hiya.
What's up, babe?
Hey, babe.
So is this our first episode since daylight savings time? Because I feel like it's dark as shit outside. I don't feel like it's normally this dark when we do this episode.
I think it's much darker than normal.
Yeah.
But I think...
Maybe it's the second episode, but we did the other one earlier in the day or something. I don't know. This is weird. We can't get the lighting right.
It's definitely the second.
Yeah. You have to really, you slap yourself in the face a couple times to get going because it's just, God, I hate this time of year.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah, I don't normally, it doesn't usually bother me, but I could be okay with it not being so dark. Really would not be happy.
Yeah.
I can't.
See, she can't even talk.
Right.
Daylight savings got her like, whoa.
Oh my God. Well, and we're fixing to go into another full moon, and we are about to also be in another Mercury retrograde.
Okay, what does that mean?
I can't really tell you anything about that.
And the full moon is once a month it comes.
Yeah.
Annie says it's Annie says on Thursday we're going to have a complete full moon. And I'm like, you realize that complete and full are synonymous with one another. And she's like, no, it's not the same thing. It's literally the same definition.
I disagree. I don't agree.
Blakely is sitting in my lap, by the way, which I don't know my algorithm on TikTok.
It's dogs.
It's dogs. It's workout, and I have gotten on a couple of these lives lately. Like the people just live and they just answer questions. I come across the second one in the last couple of weeks, and I swear to you, I'm not looking for like nasty stuff on TikTok because I don't even think it's there. But I have seen 2 lives in the last 2 weeks where these girls, I kid you not, are sitting in their car, and I guess they're masturbating. And they will just sit there and answer people's questions. And these creeps are just paying them coin. She's like, thank you.
And you don't look for this.
Well, no, I don't look. When I'm scrolling, it pops up and you see a live and it makes you stop and you look and you're like, this girl's literally masturbating. And I don't know if they really are or they just realize they can make money like this. But you ought to just see the comments going, I'm scared to go into it. Because I don't want her to be like, can't kill, go join. You know what I mean? So I stay out of where, you can't see that. But I'm just like, I don't know. This is just so weird to me that this is a thing now. And I mean, I guess these girls are getting paid money for it. I have no idea. But anyways, Blakely's in my lap. I just want to be very clear. I'm not trying to make money the TikTok way.
Oh,
which is,
wow. No.
That would be the opposite.
My TikTok followers are mostly creepy, probably men. From that time, I had a TikTok that did pretty well.
Yeah.
And the following grew by like 1,000 or 1,500, and it was pretty much creepy men. So
she posted in like a bathing suit or something like that.
No, I literally said I was going to be posting.
Oh,
I didn't. And so I probably could be doing that same thing. So
I think it's a terrible idea.
Is it though?
Yeah. Let me sell houses and roofs.
What if I brought home $10,000 a month doing that? You would still think it was a bad idea?
If that's all you were doing?
Yeah.
Maybe we could live with that. Because they don't show anything.
No, of course not.
And here's what they do every now and again. They'll do their face like that. And then they'll just keep talking and just keep taking people's money. I mean,
I need you to do that face again for.
It's crazy. I don't know what it is about the porn industry. It's the porn industry I know is what's done this. But like when you watch other people that are not porn stars, these girls feel like putting their eyes in the back of their head is like what you're supposed to. It looks so stupid, but like every video you watch, it's like these girls are like, oh, and I'm like, who does that in real life?
Well, honestly, like who watches that much porn to know this? I
mean, first of all, you're talking years, 30 years of experience. Okay. I mean, you're talking about...
Are we really talking 30 years? I mean, yeah. Let's just be honest. Like, this was not the topic.
How much do I watch it now?
Yeah,
40 hours a week.
What?
No, seriously. I really watch it that much anymore, to be honest with you. I really don't. But I have since I was... I don't know, 15 or something, because it was different back then. You got to go into Dad's closet, and he's got a VHS, and he's got Playboy, and
it's definitely much
you have friends over,
available.
and we're like getting crazy still in the VHS, and then it gets stuck in the VCR, and then you try to pull it out, and shit's all unwound, and then you're really up shit's creek
And then
and trying
Johnny
to figure
K
out.
really
Yeah,
found
you're
out.
trying to figure out what in the heck's gonna go on from there.
Wow.
So anyway, it's evolved. But anyways, I don't know what's up with this little TikTok trend, but I guess these people are finding ways to make money. So
Damn. Well,
yeah, now that we're talking about it, it's going to show up on yours, I guarantee.
I'm gonna go look for it because I want to see exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah.
depending on what
Andy's
like
I
what
could
I'm
do-
looking like, I'm like,
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
we fixing the.
Oh my gosh.
I can.
Why
make
did
that
we?
whole-
I don't
can
even
make-
know why I brought that up.
I can do that.
I don't even know
can
why I
make
brought that
face.
up. So anyhow, I think it intrigued me because it came, like I saw it again yesterday, and then I saw it like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I cannot believe that this is like a real thing now.
Yeah,
But
they have to really be walking a tight line, I would think, to
Yeah.
not get taken down.
right, exactly.
But maybe the rules aren't against that. They're you can't have the nudity or whatever. But maybe it's not.
Yeah, and I don't know
You
either.
can make the sounds.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But the only reason why I thought about it is I'm sitting here like petting Blakely, and I just don't want it to look weird on the video since you can't see her.
Yeah,
So.
you are petting
Yeah.
Blakely, and it does look a little bit like.
So anyhow, I digress.
stroking.
Sorry about that. All right, here we go.
Well, we really didn't have this to talk about, but now that you are kind of bringing masturbation up
Okay.
and porn, maybe we should talk about it.
All right.
It's,
What
are
do
you
you want to talk
nervous?
about? Yeah.
oh, are you?
Yeah, of course. I
Well,
am.
so, okay, so a lot of people, I think it's a little bit probably
Faux pas.
faux pas.
Yeah.
I was gonna say taboo.
Taboo. That's actually what I was
Taboo,
going for. Yeah.
I think, and some people would probably argue that it is bad.
Some people are probably cringing right now.
I'm sure.
Like they're looking over at their spouse right now, like, oh my god, I can't believe. Or they're on their way to the office and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe they're talking about this.
I doubt that anybody listens to this with their kids, but we probably should
Like,
have put a spoiler
disclaimer.
alert.
Well, it has
at the
explicit.
beginning.
I mean, it has an E.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right. But
And they know that I cuss, so I mean,
Yeah.
they I would assume not.
Well, because
listen to
we're on
it with
like
their kids.
episode 20 by now. So, but anyhow, yes, you should. This is an adult show, right? I mean, I think we've said that a few times. We do cuss. We don't talk about the sexual stuff all the time, but we're not going to like shy away from it either. So, because I mean, this Life's Little Arguments. It's about people in relationships, presumably married or long term, serious relationships. So,
Well, because we just did this TikTok last night. Was it last night?
I don't know what
Sunday
you're talking
night?
about.
Where you put the phone like at my vagina
Oh, yeah.
and
Hello?
acted like you were calling, saying hello.
It's me.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Can I call you or whatever
Yeah.
it was said. Anyway, and that's probably a little bit maybe
Risque. Yeah. I mean, we do live in the Bible Belt after all. So,
We do, and
yeah.
so I think some people probably are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking about this," or "Hell no, we don't watch porn," or "That's disgusting,"
Yeah.
or whatever, or even not just porn, but like talking about sex toys or using that kind of stuff in the bedroom. We don't have a problem with it. Clearly, like it's never felt taboo or wrong to me, and I don't have a problem with you watching porn. I mean, hell, I've watched porn before too. I don't go seek that out by myself. I'm not you.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Well, oh, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, if there were anything like porn does nothing for me. Like it doesn't. Like if I needed something to get me in the mood, like I need some sort of plot, a little bit.
And
of
you're
a
not
plot.
going to get that on porn.
No.
Which I've told you before. Like if I'm going to watch it, my category, if you will, is like real couples. Like that is like going and watching.
I'm so glad you said that because I was really afraid of what you were
like
gonna say
going
right
and
there.
watching like real porn stars, like that part does nothing for me.
Yeah.
But like real couples, I guess which maybe they are real, maybe they're not. I have no idea. But I think that kind of makes it, I don't know, a little more authentic, if you will. But it's the same. The problem with it is like it's the same order all the time. It's the same things everything. It's just like, okay, this is getting old. I'm even kind of tired of it at this point.
When you say same order all the time, you mean they gives the blowjob,
Yeah.
and then
and they finish the same. I mean, it's like verbatim. It's like you could write it. And so anyhow, when you say that you need a plot, then yeah. But the problem with it is like the ones that are with the plots, the acting is so god awful that it's almost impossible to get through.
So for me, I don't like. I am a very, very visual person.
Yeah.
And but I think that's why I like my trashy romance novels
Yeah.
because
That was one of the things. So when we first started dating, I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but when Annie and I first started dating, we used to go to the bookstore as like a date. And I thought it was cool because she loved reading. I'm not a big reader, never have been. But we would go to was it Books A Million, I guess, and they used to. I think we did
Barnes
talk
and
about
Noble.
the Barnes and Nobles. They had this little sex session, and we would go and
They had a sex session
we
there.
would go through section. We would go look through the books together, and
They had like Kama Sutra
yeah,
books and
the
stuff
positions,
like
and like
that.
it'd be fun to try this. There's no
Yeah.
way we could do this. I mean, knowing good and well, we weren't going to be able to do
We weren't
90% of
we
the
weren't
stuff.
going to try it anyway.
But that was like our thing.
But bless your heart that you thought we might.
but then she read these romance novels, which was good for me because
It made me horny.
that was foreplay,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Because I knew if she was reading one, Daddy was going to get some that night. You know what I mean? So, but then you stop reading them.
Well, I didn't just life got busy. I mean, hell, it's you got school, you got work, you got kids, you got dinner, you got baseball, you got whatever.
Well, work's out, sports are out, kids are done with school. Like, let's get back to it.
Oh, I mean,
That's what I got to say about it. Let's get back to it.
I would like to, but by the time it's like time to crawl in bed,
It's
it's like,
exhausted,
I
tired,
can't keep my
especially at this
eyes
time of year
open.
when it's dark at 5:30.
Yeah, and then I feel like you're like, are you almost ready to go to bed? Like, you're gonna turn that light off? I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
sure, I'll turn the light off.
Yeah.
I can't really read in the dark.
How about me napping on the couch today?
I'm just like, lay your head back.
You need
for
to take
God's
so
sake.
so I'm
I
the,
didn't take the video
You should
specifically
have.
because I've taken so many of that exact same video.
You should have, but I'm the type of person that can sleep standing up. I'm like a giraffe. But anyhow, I think Blakely was in my lap and I was on the couch and I was in between like an appointment and then I was waiting on a closing and it was like I think I even said, Siri, wake me up in like 36 minutes or
Yes,
something like
you
that.
did.
So next thing you know, I fall asleep. Well, then I start doing like this, and
And for the people not watching on YouTube, he's jerking his
when
head,
you're
like,
asleep
that
and you
nod.
jerk your head, like it hurts your neck.
Yeah,
It's like
so
whiplash.
Just like after you do that 18 times, lay your head
I only
back.
did it a few times, but then Lincoln got up behind me, and
Right.
he's like my pillow. So then I lean back on him, and everything's fine. I don't know why I do that. I just fall asleep like that. But anyhow, I think it's the breathing. It cuts
I've
out there.
never met anybody in my life that can fall
Crazy,
asleep like you can
crazy.
like that.
I love it though.
It irritates me.
Yeah. So
You know what else irritates me?
what?
Trying to watch you put a piece of furniture from Amazon
my
or anywhere together.
Well, okay. I was doing good. Hey, she was working on she's doing this winter wonderland thing with trees and reindeer and lights and all this stuff.
Shut. Why
Okay,
are
I
you
won't give to me.
giving everything
Okay,
away?
sorry, I won't give to me details. So, anyways, I didn't. So this desk comes in, and I didn't want to bother her with it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it myself. For me, I'm spatially challenged. Like it's hard for me to look at a picture and put it together. It's not the way my mind works.
Is
Anyway,
that what that means?
spatially challenged,
Yeah.
yeah. Spatial reasoning is what it's called. But anyways, those portions of like state exams and tests, I've never like personality tests. I've always done poorly on that. But anyhow, so I get I don't know probably halfway through, did the best I could, and then I get to some part in the instructions where it's just not very clear, and I have to try to reason. And anyhow, it did not go very well. We got the whole thing put together, and then I realized, shit, I did that wrong like 12 steps ago. So Annie had to come in, and she's much better at that part of it.
Save the day.
Yeah, come and save the day. So anyhow, we got to put together. It looks good. It looks just like our floor. So we need a rug. It looks like there's no dimension at all in the room right now.
Yeah,
So.
it's really weird.
But yeah, I hate them damn things. Like IKEA, people make jokes about IKEA like
No, I
instructions.
think I feel like that's probably the perfect job for me. Let me look at your instruction booklet. Let me put this desk together and I will do a step-by-step of what your instructions actually should be rather than the shit that you're giving people hoping they put it together.
Yeah.
Because it is crap.
Yeah.
It is absolute crap.
So we ended up, because of a shipping issue or whatever, we ended up with an extra desk, and somebody come and bought the desk yesterday, and I tried to give them a heads up on these 2 or 3 kind of non-descriptive instructions. I said, do this instead of this, do this instead of this, that will save you
I
4
guarantee
hours.
that went straight over her head. She
No.
was I guess
Well,
me,
because her son's
she
putting
was-
it together. Her son was locked
whatever.
in. Her son was dialed in.
You were talking and I felt like I could see her eyes glaze over.
I sent her a
My
message
eyes started
today,
glaze-
and it said,
glaze
hey,
over.
was the desk cool? She's like, we've got it delivered. We've not put it together. I said,
Delivered? They
well,
delivered us?
where they're moving to the house. So, anyways, she said we'll let you know tomorrow if we have any questions.
Oh,
But
you just opened that door to messaging you
that's
about.
true. I mean, it's the I don't know. It's the right
Why
thing
do
to
you do that?
I don't. I'm just a helpful person. I can't help it.
Yeah, but it's gonna frustrate you if she does.
No, I'm just not going to answer. I'm just teasing. I'm
Yeah.
just teasing.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'll end up being like, okay, damn it, let me drive up there and show you how to do this. But it's fine. It's fine. If I can put it together, anyone can put it together. That's what I do know. So,
Yeah.
are we gonna get back to this other topic? I was kind of talking about it
Well, yes. How did we even get off of it?
because you were like, so how long does it take to put a desk together? I feel like you were trying to move on.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I don't recall doing
So
that.
so good. Let's
Anyway,
explore this a little bit
I think
more.
my question to you is, so why do you feel the need to watch porn?
I feel like if
And when do you do it now? Like when? Like how? Like when? How often? And why now?
I feel like it's more either out of boredom, which is probably number one, or just out of routine.
Boredom that's such a weird thing to me. Even though I hear it all the time, we watch these stupid shows about, my husband's a porn addict or whatever.
No, first of all, I'm nowhere near like that. Let's just be honest. I'm nowhere near that. But I think it's more just probably just habit or routine. Like if I go to the bathroom, for example, like I'm probably going to watch it just because. It's like, why not? I mean, it's either that or you sit there and scroll on TikTok or Instagram.
Right. So I'm just so very.
Should we even be talking about this?
Probably not, but you've already put it out there. So the fact that you go to the bathroom and do this is so strange to me. It's just I'm just going to call it like it is. It's weird. It looks like weirdo behavior.
Okay.
Psycho weirdo behavior, actually, I think. So I would be interested if any other guys do this.
See, to me, what I think would be weird is if I'm doing it like on the bed, like just sprawled out on the bed.
Yes, also strange. Just the fact that you would do it anyway, just out of boredom, is also weird. Like, just look at TikTok. That's what normal people do. Or go to YouTube and look at something. Like, I don't understand the need for that type of stimulation. Like, why?
Okay. So I think I think what I failed to mention is when I get bored, it makes me horny. I think when I'm bored, my mind immediately goes to I'm horny now, and I don't know why, but so it's not.
We
need
to unpack that because we need to reverse.
So I wanted to be clear because it's not like I'm watching it because I'm bored.
But
my boredom, and I understand I said that, but it is my boredom leads to me being horny, and then that's what causes me to want to go watch it. And again, it depends on what's going on with you and I. Like if we're good, like we just come off a streak or we're rocking, like it's not nearly the need. Mm-hmm. But if we hadn't done anything in a week, chances are I'm going to.
Wow.
If a handful of times it might go to like 2 weeks, I'm definitely going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go more than a week and not get off in some capacity. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, but I feel like we're doing pretty good. So I don't feel like I've really had a need to a whole lot lately.
But have you then?
You mean in the past?
Well, you just said lately.
I mean, like when we weren't.
No, you said we've been pretty good lately, so I'm asking you. Okay, so
have I?
So let's catch you in this lie right here.
Okay, no. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm doing it every couple of days, I would say lately I'm probably like a 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there have been times where I've been like a 5.
And honestly, there's been times where I'm like, you could be a 10 for all I care. I don't care. Go take care of things because I have no interest and it does not bother me. Go, don't touch me.
Yeah. And there's times where but okay, so here's the other thing. And I know that you do this too. So the 2 reasons probably boredom leads to horny.
Uh-huh.
And then
let me guess.
If I can't get to sleep. Yeah, if I can't get to sleep, it's like if I go in, I could either sit here and toss and turn for the next 2 hours, or I could just run in there, take care of things, and then I'm ready to go to sleep. Uh-huh. And you do the same thing, so don't even play.
Well, I don't do it in the bathroom. That's weird.
Right. You do it right next to me in the bed. with the dogs there. Apparently, that's a whole lot better.
Oh my god.
But the thing is, like, so there are times, and we're just
cannot
being
right now.
transparent here.
I
We're just
cannot
being
right now.
transparent. There are times
We this might completely be TMI, like way TMI.
it doesn't bother me.
We might throw this episode in the
Who
trash
knows?
can.
Or we just cut all this shit out. But it doesn't bother me in the slightest that you do it, as long as we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we're not good, like it's been too long or whatnot, and then you're doing it, that's going to set me off. Which you know that because I will vocalize that to you. But I can't even tell you how many times I have like been late, like rolled over in bed.
And you think I am.
Absolutely.
And I'm not.
And that shit will infuriate me. And I'm sitting there thinking, I fucking told her I was horny. She knows that I'm wanting to get down. And this girl is over there doing that shit. And she said no to me tonight. That's what will set me off sometimes. And I'll be over there just fuming. There's probably few things that make me fume the way that makes me fume.
And I have to literally prove. I have to somehow try to prove to you that I was not doing that.
Yeah, and I believe you because you've always been honest with me about it. You're either like yes or no, whatever. So I don't think you're lying when I say that, but
Blakely.
But there's just like too much movement. But we also, our bed vibrates. We also got 2 dogs. You also move a lot. Can you not? She's denting over here and just making a complete
I feel
noise.
like you think the bed's moving and the bed is not.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I do rub my feet together. Like that's
Absolutely.
a soothing. It's soothing to me for whatever reason.
Absolutely. It's so. I'm sitting here thinking there are times where I will like look over like this, and I'm like, if I catch that bitch doing this shit, knowing good and well I was horny. Like if I'm not horny, I don't care. Because here's the thing.
But here's the thing. When are you not horny? That's
Well,
really the thing.
I mean, I guess that part's true too. But here's the thing. Like you doing it, I actually like it because I'm a firm believer that you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
And if you're doing it, then we're good. But it's only when we're together. And I don't mean physically together. Only when things are good, then I'm like, yeah, do it all the time. Yeah. So anyhow, I don't know how we got on that topic. Because I was talking about the girls on TikTok.
Yeah. So okay, well.
Anyhow, so maybe what we
there.
can do, we'll put a little note that says if you don't like talking about or hearing about masturbation.
I love how you say we are going to put a little note in there, knowing good and full well.
Annie's going to put a note in there.
I'm not going to do that.
You're just going to roll with it?
I'm going to let them just be like,
oh my God.
Oh my God, I can't believe they just
I can't believe they're talking about that.
And then when I see the next person at Kroger, it's going to come up at Kroger. I'm going to be like, okay, I like to talk about this in the podcast, and I really want to talk about it at Kroger.
No, that's true. That is very, very true. Behind this screen is a little different than in person. So.
Oh, gosh. So, what have we done this week?
You have been working on this secret Winter Wonderland, which is going to be really cool. I'm pretty excited about it.
I hope it comes together.
Your stuff always comes together. You're very, very creative. But I think that because you said to me the other day, you were like, I don't want anything for Christmas. This Winter Wonderland thing, that is my Christmas. Yeah. That's enough for me.
It really is. It's giving me very Black Friday. Like, yeah. It is. This is my, and I think like this is the time I would in 2 weeks literally be having a Black Friday. Yeah. And so I feel like this is.
And when we have friends over and y'all can go in there, that's going to be cool. If they, bring kids, grandkids over and there's pictures, like it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be really neat.
Yeah, I think it'll be neat.
Cut the grass today, so it's tidy for you when you set everything up over the next day or two. So,
but it's I've made a lot of work for myself.
But look on the bright side.
I didn't realize it was going to be.
When you do this next year, all this stuff is done. Now the question is going to become.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I will add to it next year.
We're going to turn into Christmas light fights or whatever it's called. Yes. We're going to be on CB or ABC, whatever.
I don't see a version of me that says, nah, this is good.
Yeah, we're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's going to get more and more. But I don't know. We'll see. But for whatever reason, this was kind of, it just hit me and I wanted to do it. And then it just turned into more and more and more. Which part of it is me making things. Like I'm literally like, Ashley helped me with the router, but cutting these things out and painting them, and I built the little table, and so I don't know. It's just the creative piece. Yes.
Can I just say one more thing about this prior topic? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
The last episode, we talked a good bit about communication and how important it is to communicate with your partner about all stuff, but even like sexual stuff. And you have to understand, like, we're grown ass adults.
Yeah.
And we've been married 16 years, and we, for the most part, with the exception of a few people, we think that our audience is in long-term relationships, they're adults, they're whatever, whatever. If the idea of talking about masturbation or thinking about masturbation or alluding to it in any way at all with your partner, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, I get back to how do you learn how to communicate with one another? Because I promise you, in most relationships, one or both of those people probably have experienced this in some form or fashion, want to experience it in some form or fashion, and probably want to do it with their partner in some form or fashion. And if you can't talk about that, the problem is not masturbation. The problem is you have to learn how to talk to each other. And Annie and I, there are probably certain things. I'm not claiming to be the best communicator. There's an ant going across my phone.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here watching Blake.
Jesus, that's
like,
okay. All right, stop. Just don't want to say
she's
it.
cleaning herself.
It's called hygiene.
I mean,
good gosh, you're disgusting.
Oh my
So
God.
anyways, I wanted to just really point that out because I'm sitting here thinking, like, how many people are going to feel uncomfortable listening to us talk about this?
Yeah,
and how many people are
probably a lot.
going to look at their partner and be like, oh shit, like I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to, like, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not claiming to be the best communicator, but
and I think it's all like we're also not trying to say that you have to be like
that's
this.
true too.
Like, that's not a fair.
That's very true. That's very true.
Or to make somebody feel like that either. Just because that's what we do or feel comfortable
Very
with
good
doesn't
point.
mean everybody has to be comfortable with that. But I do think you need to be comfortable speaking to your partner about your needs.
Sure.
What you need, what they need.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
And their needs don't necessarily mean you have to
That's true. Not everyone needs
have
to be doing
toys
that.
or masturbate or whatever. That's not a requirement.
Yeah.
Like that's. However, if you don't, I highly recommend it. Especially, women. Do you realize? I don't know the statistics on it, but there's like a high percentage of women that have been in relationships, multiple relationships, that have never experienced orgasms.
Yeah, I'd be willing. I don't know the percentage either, but I'd be willing to bet it's probably 40%.
That seems really high, but I don't know that I'm disagreeing with you on that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's crazy.
We need to find that out. We'll go look that up.
Yeah, we do. Because we watched what was that show that we watched? It was with the sex coach.
Yeah. It was something on HBO. I remember that.
It was really, really good.
Sex therapy, I think, is maybe what it was called.
Yeah, and it really showed her going through the therapy with the couples, and then it showed like the dynamic of the couples, and the different things that.
But what was the most important part of all of those relationships? When it's said and done, what was the most important part of all those relationships?
It was them being able to communicate their needs to each other.
Right. And I think that's what happens so many times is, you think that they're going to get frustrated, you think they're going to get embarrassed, you think they're going to think a certain way of you, whatever the case may be, and so you don't talk about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, in the long run, that could just, it either causes problems or it causes you not to get fulfillment, or and I don't just mean orgasm, I mean just general fulfillment. So.
And they're not. I mean, I'm not here to say that they're easy conversations, because I would say we've definitely had conversations that were not easy to have. And when I say not easy to have, like, it can be hurtful. To I would say I feel like you've hurt my feelings before in having these conversations, and not like you're trying to hurt my feelings, but I realize that maybe I'm not giving you what you need or whatever. And that just, I feel badly about that. But you can't, and it's not a one and done. I mean, we've had many conversations over the years because we change so much, and we go through so many different phases of life that you have to keep coming back to that conversation. I feel like
that's actually a very good point too, because you're right. I mean, you go through having young kids, and then they're growing up, and you're going through attitudes, and you're going through them driving and you're going through worry and then they're going off to school and then there's all of these things and of course your body's changing the whole time.
Yes. Oh,
Stresses at work. I mean, that's constantly evolving and stuff like that. Again, it just kind of gets back to like, what if every couple said, we're not going to go more than, and I'm just making up a time period, we're not going to go more than a month without checking in with each other.
Yeah.
And what is checking in? What does that really mean?
We kind of did that a little bit at one time. We did hey, just checking in.
Yeah.
Like, how's it going?
What do you need from me?
What do you need from me?
Yeah. And I think as long as it's authentic, it's good. But I would say this is probably one topic I feel like we've always been pretty good at communicating on. Other things, I think we've had to just kind of develop it over the years. And I feel like that our communication today is probably maybe the best it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one that I feel like we've always been pretty good at talking about. So.
Well, and I'm not big with, I hate confrontation. And so, and not that things are confrontational, but just hard conversations to have. A lot of times in the past have just been easier for me to, like, I literally could be in the same room with you and be like, I can't do this right now, and go to the another room and I have to text it to you. Like, I literally can't say these things out loud to you, but I can text it to you, and that gets the ball rolling.
So I kind of feel like this somewhat ties into, you had made a note in our notepad about talking about, do you live down for people or something?
Do you make yourself small? Or
Yeah.
are you making yourself smaller to
satisfy, appease?
are you holding parts of yourself back to please other people, to make it more comfortable for them? So like with parents or friends or family or whatever, whoever in your life. I thought that was an interesting topic, and I think that I have, like, I've not always been very vocal. I mean, I think having this podcast, I don't really think that I'm holding much back. I'm pretty open, and if somebody were to ask me a question, I would be, I feel okay, giving my response to that. But I would say in the past versions of me, I definitely have not felt comfortable doing that and not sharing everything with everybody. And a lot of it because I didn't want, there were certain people. I was playing small. I was holding a part of myself back to please other people. Hell, that goes back to my freaking childhood. Like, we talked about that with, like, my stepmom and not being able to, making myself small so that, it didn't give attention. My dad didn't give attention to me. He should have given it all to her. So God, that just brings all. So yeah, clearly I've been doing that.
Well, and that's when I notice it. That's where I notice it is probably with your dad as much, because I know how hurtful it's been over the years, and I think at this point you're maybe kind of past it. I mean, I think it's still there. I definitely know it's still there, but well, why don't you say that to him, or why don't you express that to him? And you can't bring yourself to do it.
Yeah, I think when I finally made the decision to not have them in my life anymore, because we went back and forth, like, they really weren't. I think when you and I got together, when I first met you, I want to say I had already gone through this. Basically, they'd pretty much cut them out of my life. And then after you and I got together,
we met them at Red Lobster one night for dinner.
Yeah, and I think my stepsister was getting married, so that, and somehow I was asked to be in the wedding. It was the most awkward thing ever. Oh my God, it was horrible. It wasn't horrible. But it was very awkward for me to come. But I, I was a people pleaser. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to buck the system. So I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll, put I'll make myself small so that I can come be a part of this for you, because that's who I am. That's what I do. And after that, though, I, on my terms, kind of said, okay, like, this relationship is not good for me. It is too stressful for me to worry about letting you tell me I need to be here at this time, or we need to do this, or you need to do that. Like, just never being enough and not being good enough. I was like, I can't, this is driving me crazy. I can't feel like this anymore. And so I cut that relationship off. And because I cut it off on my own terms, I am okay with it. I'm fine with it. Yes, there are things that probably should be said and probably will never get said, but that that is what it is.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have ever lived a certain way or thought a certain way to be smaller for other people. I mean, I've always had the support of my family, so I've never really felt the need to do that. I'm a very, very transparent person. Like, I am who I am. I think, and when it comes to like being small for other people, I don't think I let other people dim my light. I think if there's anything, I'm the opposite of that with other people. I think if there's anything, there are times where I might have imposter syndrome, and I might not, I might dim myself sometimes, or
Yeah.
make myself smaller sometimes, because it's like, could I see myself being that successful? Could I see myself doing that? Can I see? So I think that for me personally, that gets in the way of me much more than letting other people make me feel small or anything like that. Because I typically am pretty outgoing, pretty confident, and everything else, and I think most people would probably feel like that about me. But internally, I think that there have been times where I've struggled with that. I think.
Let me ask you this. So this kind of ties sort of back into the whole conversation around, sex. Do you feel do you feel less confident in periods of time where we are not as connected and maybe we are not, you know, being intimate and having sex as frequently? Do those two tie together for you at
Yeah,
all?
yeah. I mean, I think that feeling like you are attracted to me and wanting me will absolutely make a difference in that. The problem is, you know, sometimes one thing can lead to another, can lead to another, can lead to another. And I think that one thing that attracts you to me is my confidence. And I think that sometimes if I'm struggling with something kind of internally and my confidence is not where it needs to be, that comes across a little bit. And I think that subconsciously or consciously, I don't know, that starts to rub off on you, which maybe causes you to push, and then it just kind of starts this little bit of a cycle. I think that where I'm at right now, I feel probably the best I've felt in a long, long time. I think that a lot of that confidence stuff came from, the years in corporate America where it's like you're just constantly feeling like you're failing all the time. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're never good enough, and you always want more and more and more. I think that those years were probably the biggest struggle. And then I think once I left there, not really knowing immediately what I wanted to do and what I was meant to do and I think that there was a little bit of a struggle there as well. But I mean, I feel good about where I'm at now, and I feel like that whole imposter syndrome thing, it'll come up every now and again, just because you're comparing yourself to people who've been doing this for years, and you're like, damn, they're absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
And I know that I'll get there as well, but it's just it's a real challenge for me. But when you brought that up and you're like, hey, should we talk about this? I think I'm kind of, I don't know if the opposite's the right word, but I feel like,
I still think it's the same thing. I think
yeah,
you're just saying it's the imposter syndrome
yeah,
piece of it, not necessarily like you're not specifically not posting things on Facebook because of your parents or somebody making you feel badly about yourself or making you feel like that's not the right thing to do. And I think I say that because I wonder myself if my mom were still here, because I don't have a relationship really with my dad, and then my stepdad, he's not on Facebook. I don't. Plus, it doesn't matter. Gary,
yeah,
I don't know that Gary. He might not even tell me ever what he thought, even if he didn't necessarily agree with something that I did. And I feel like that's the way mom was too. I don't feel like she would ever tell me, even if she did disagree. I think she kind of just kept it to herself. She wasn't the type also to be very forceful in her opinions. But I do wonder if she was still here, would I have this podcast? Would I feel free to say the things that I say? Would I, do things differently on Facebook, because I know I have friends who are have been made to feel by their parents that they shouldn't be posting certain things, or
And this is, a 40-something-year-old person. I mean, this is
and
not
it's
a
not
17-year-old kid. This is
right.
we're
But I
adults.
also know 25-year-olds who have been, told that
Well,
they shouldn't be making TikToks with this particular kind of music, that it makes you a bad person because, and I obviously 100% disagree with all of that. The situation was is that we have a friend who had been posting something on Facebook, just like going out and having a drink and posting it, and the parent was like, are you an alcoholic? Like, that's what it portrays, or what am I supposed to say if my friends see it? And it made me very sad for my friend, who then is like, I guess I can't post these things. And I'm like, well, why? And she's like, well, I'm trying to be respectful. I'm like, but is that being true to yourself? Like, you're making yourself smaller? Like, when you get to the end of your days, and this may be something very trivial, like that's not, maybe not necessarily
but that's what made
that
you
big
think
of a
about
deal.
it. Yeah.
But that's what made me think about it is, when you get to the end of life, like, what are the regrets going to be? Is it going to be because you did life the way you wanted to do life, or you did life the way your parents expected you to do life? And so it's not just about Facebook; it's about all of it.
Yeah.
And it could be whether you go to school or
School or
don't go
not,
to
yeah.
school. It could, I mean, just so
What
many
career
things.
you get? I mean,
Religion, like all of the things.
yeah.
And it
Well, I
just
mean,
made me
you
think
just
about that.
and just think about like people that that are homosexual, and they say that they have this stress and this
Yeah.
feeling because they're not living up to what
They're
their
not
parents
being
are.
authentic
They're
to
yeah, they're
themselves.
not
Yes.
being authentic to themselves. So it can be something really really big. It can be something really really trivial. But that's really kind of what we started talking about. And it's like at the end of the day, I am who I am,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm a good person. I feel like that I'm a courteous. I think about other people. I mean, as long as you're a good person and you treat others with respect and care about people and love people and everything else, like, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters. I mean,
So I just hope for Jackson and Lauren that I don't do that to them. And if I ever do, I hope that they call me on that. I hope they say, listen, like, I remember in this podcast you said you would never do something like this, and I hope that I'm true to my word on that, because I don't want them to ever live their life the way they think I should be living, the way that I think they should be living their life. I want them to live their life the way they want to live their life.
yeah.
And I'm going to love them for that, no matter what, no matter where that takes them.
I think that there was a time where, like, you take this podcast for example, and is this an internal thing or an external thing? Because you could say, well, there was a time where we're not going to do this podcast because what if no one listens?
Mm-hmm.
What if we only get 10 people that listen to us or whatever? And that's enough that their perception of you is enough to keep you from doing something that you enjoy doing. But I guess my question really is, was it really their perception the whole time, or was it more internally, feeling like a failure, feeling embarrassed, feeling,
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of times we say we're letting other people keep us small, but I would be willing to bet that more times than not, we are keeping ourselves small a lot more than we think we
Oh,
are.
for sure. I think it's all, you obviously have that choice. And so, yeah, I think just being that confidence, lacking the confidence to do something, it always is going to come back to you. But you got to be strong. If you're going to do something like that, you do have to be strong. But I was also going to say that I don't know, you have a lot of different versions of yourself throughout your life. And I think that a younger version of myself probably wouldn't have done this. I probably would feel differently. I probably would expect my kid to, do something differently. And, that's where you just talk about people evolve and change, and allowing people to be able to evolve and change, because I definitely have. Like, I feel like I'm such a different person now. I'm so much more open now than I was when I was 25, because of the conditioning that I was brought up with, and not conditioning like it's a cult kind of conditioning, but I was taught
Go to
to
school, get
go
a
to school,
job, you
get a good job,
retire.
whatever.
Yeah.
Going to church. That when you go to church, in the baptism or Baptist, the churches that I was brought up in is a man and a woman, you get married, and that's the way that it is. And I have come to, or that you should be getting married and then having kids, and like all of these things that I kind of taught, this is the way it should be, these are the right rules. I now have made those decisions for myself on whether or not I feel like I agree with that or not. Whereas when I was 21,
Yeah.
25, I kind of just went with, this is what I've always been taught. So yeah, I kind of agree.
Agree with it, or you treat people differently just if they don't feel the same way.
Well, that too, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I ever really treated anybody differently. I may have thought it in my own head, like I don't agree with that, but I don't feel like I ever treated anybody any differently. And now it's definitely a difference of not just I feel differently about the situation. I mean, I still don't think I have treated anybody differently, but
When I say you, I don't mean you. I mean,
well, no,
just
I
generally
get,
speaking.
yes. And
So you had mentioned kind of where you are now and the way you think about things and everything else. Like
come here.
like I think it's safe to say that over the years, I mean, like I said, we've been married 16 years. Over the years, we have had different versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think you could define like versions of me or versions of you, and like what was the best version of me and what was the least best version of me? Like what have you ever thought about that?
Well, yes, and I've thought about this. Well, I've thought
Well,
about that
okay,
question,
let me
I
stop you
guess.
there. Let me stop you there because the audience would not have known you had thought about that had you not said it. And as talent, I brought
Oh,
that
geez.
topic in.
You did. You did a good. That was a great segue. I should have let you just have
No
it.
shit, you should have let me just have it. God darn. You know what? I think you're a little pissed that I brought it up, honestly. And I
Oh,
think you were like, I'm
wow.
about to ruin his segue.
Oh, well, that's definitely not what in
Yeah.
my head. But I apologize.
But yeah.
I should have let
Yeah.
you have that segue. Yes. So I think I think I'm always probably going to say the best version of you is now. I hope that I would say that, because if I'm saying the best version of you is
That's
when I
actually a
first
good
got
point.
you, I'm like, well, that's kind of shitty.
You suck now. No,
Right.
that's actually a good point. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. So obviously, the
Well,
best version is now.
that doesn't always have to be the case, because if I was self-aware, let's say that let's just say a year ago, for example, I was here and this was happening, everything was doing, and then I mean you case in point, 20 years at Geico,
Yeah.
everything was good, and then one day everything changed,
Yeah.
and so if we had had this conversation 2 weeks after everything had changed, and you said,
That's
"Can't
true. It would not have been the best version.
this is not the best version of you right now," I would have said, "I accept that."
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been the best version of me.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from, but I think that if we're just being honest, like I don't.
That was not the best version of you.
Yeah.
I like this version of us, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably one of the best. I feel like this is like the best time that we've had.
I feel like if we had a swimming pool, it would be.
It would be so
Be
much.
so
it
much
would
better.
be. It would be. That
A
would
swimming
be the,
pool and a
the,
camper.
That. Oh
Oh,
gosh.
jeez.
That would be. Sorry. That would be the best version. It got me excited. It got me so excited.
Yeah.
I knocked my
I know.
mic.
Shit.
That would definitely be the best version of us. But
Real podcasters don't clear the throat in the microphone. By the way.
excuse me,
Golly.
God almighty.
How long have we been doing this?
Damn,
You
I
act like
don't
this is
know.
our first episode.
Listen, I'm tired.
Okay. So I think the best version of you, I'm just going to tell you things that I think are important.
Okay.
When you get into your manifestation and your mental clarity and the good vibrations and stuff, I love that. I love it. I think it keeps you focused. I think it keeps you grounded. And I think it really, really, really hones in on that creative juice that you need based on your human design. but when you're like dialed into that stuff, as long as you kind of know when to dial it back a little bit, because sometimes it's like, you can talk to me so much about it. It's like, okay, I need a break from it for a minute. You know what I mean? But the fact that it keeps you dialed in and like wanting to learn more, and like you're the type of person that if you're learning, you're good. If you're being creative, you're good. If you're thinking, you're good. If you're not doing those things, that's when I think you have too much time to overthink things, to self-doubt, to put pressure, to have anxiety, all the things that are probably not the best version of yourself. Those things creep in when you aren't pushing yourself creatively. So I think anything related to your creative juices flowing to me is like the best version of you. And I think that a lot of that's happening right now.
I was fixing to ask if you thought that was going on right now.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, probably over the last couple of years, I would say that's probably happened quite a bit. What is challenging for me is your human design tells you creative, then move on, creative, move on. It's when you do the moving on that sometimes that I'll get frustrated because I'll be like, man, everything's rocking and rolling, you're doing good, and then like you'll just out of nowhere move on to something else, and I'm like, well, shit, this was perfect. Like what you were saying made sense, and doing this, and then all of a sudden we move on to this other thing, and I'm like, no, like I love that, but you know what I mean,
But that's how I'm designed. I am designed to test, to test it and succeed or fail and make it easier for others. That is what I'm here to bring to the collective and to do. And it can look from the outside in, it can look very chaotic. It can look like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It can look like she can't just fucking light on one simple thing. That's what it looks like. And
welcome to my life.
Yeah, and that has been, I would say that's probably been the most frustrating thing of watching myself. Like I know that I do this. Like I it's not like I'm not aware. I am aware. And until I understood my human design, that I'm literally meant to be like that it made perfect sense. And it doesn't have to make sense to everybody else, and that's completely fine. But that I think that's part of my magic is, okay, so you want to come know about owning a boutique? I got you, babe. I can tell you all the things that you should do and all the things that you should not do based on my trial and error. You want to know about marketing. You want to know about social media. Sure, I got you. I can tell you everything that you need to do and everything that you don't need to do. You want to know about all the newest, latest, and greatest, fads or trends or algorithms and all that bullshit. I got you because I've tried it all, understand it, and I've gone and watched all the gurus and done all the things that you don't want to do. And I say you, I mean anybody really, but that's not into that, because that's the breadcrumb trail that I go down and bebop onto all these different things. But
you do this with a lot of stuff. So
I do this with everything in my life. That is.
Let me just bring up a couple of examples.
Okay.
Case in point.
God, my back is hurting so bad.
Kent, my hair's thinning. I'm gonna go start this new product. Tries it for 30 days, moves on. Mm-hmm. And now my skin. I'm gonna try this product for 30, and I'm like, babe, like this stuff does not work miracles.
Well,
like
yes.
You have to do it for 60, 90,
Clearly,
120.
That's.
And it's funny because
that's a character flaw.
Because and it's not. It's just, but it translates to a lot of parts of your life. Is I guess what I'm saying. But it's funny because how many times have people told you, Andy, you would be so good at multi-level marketing and this and that, and I'm like, you think she would be? She would be for 27 days, and then she would move on to something that's probably why, because you're like, I don't like talking to people, I don't like no, those products sell themselves. That multi-level marketing, that's not the issue. The issue is you can't stay dialed into something like that.
I 100% because I stayed dialed in for almost 5 years at the boutique, so I 100% disagree with that. What network marketing, I have no problem with that. The problem I have is if I cannot see an improvement on myself
immediately.
Okay, after 30 fucking days, after 90 days, if I don't see an improvement after 90 days, I
Yeah.
cannot love this product and show it and share it to other people knowing it's not working on me. That is not authentic to me. Now, you give me a product that freaking blows me away, I'm gonna be the biggest freaking superstar ever selling it. But I've yet to find that. I have not found that yet.
Without naming
And I
any
have
names.
tried a lot.
She's tried a lot. Without naming any names, can you honestly say that you've used any product for
Absolutely.
more than what? 90 days?
Yes, new skin. Hell,
I said don't say any
It doesn't
names.
matter. I'm still using the eye cream now that I had from 2 years ago when I started it. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved those products. They felt they felt great. They made my skin feel great, but I didn't see an improvement in my skin. Now, I like the way they feel on my skin, but I didn't see necessarily an improvement. So especially like that was the neck cream, that was the big thing that they were pushing at that particular time, and I tried it and I'm like, there's no difference whatsoever. I'm like, I can't in good conscience go out there and share this with everybody and try to get you to buy it when I don't feel like I can say yes, it made a huge difference. Like, sue me. If there are other people that can do that, good for them. I authentically cannot do that. I'm not going to.
But just because it doesn't work for
now,
you doesn't mean it doesn't work for other
let me
people.
tell you about something that I did stick with that I do love and I 100% will tell everybody about. That was when I had my hair extensions. Like, I love that, and I could sell it to anybody because they looked fucking fantastic. They felt great. It was very expensive hair. I could sell you on spending that money on that hair. There's not a network marketing for hair like that. Like, if I did, I listen.
But
I
let's
could be
just
a fucking badass selling hair like that. But that's not a thing.
Let's just be clear.
What?
Because we might have a multi-level marketer want to sponsor us one day. So let's just be very clear. Just because it doesn't work
I'll
for
try
Annie
it.
does not mean that it does not work for everyone.
Absolutely.
Because there are some people with different skin types, different
Absolutely.
metabolisms, different hair, different
100%.
everything.
I'm not saying these products don't work for other people.
Correct.
I'm saying for my skin type, I have never seen something make a difference. And that's just me, but because it doesn't on me, I can't sell it to somebody else. That's why those don't stick.
But I don't know why I brought that up.
I feel like you're coming at me, actually.
Well, of course, you're sitting up, you're talking different, everything else. So I was just, let's dial it back a little bit. All I was saying was that the whole creative and moving on, and this carries over into a lot of aspects of your life, not just one thing. That's all I was trying to say.
Correct, because that is me as
Right.
a human. That is my
And
design.
I have learned, and see, I think that's part of what I appreciate so much about the manifestation, the meditation, the human design. Like, when you share that stuff with me, that's a way of me getting to know you very easily without thinking, I got to go dig, I got to go find, I got to go draw this out of her. Like, I don't have to do any of that stuff. And so when you share that stuff with me, you don't think I'm paying attention, but I do pay very, very close attention. And so when you do something, I have probably said to myself at least 100 times in the last 3 months, internally, that's just her human design. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way but it helps me reason with you doing things differently than I do it.
Yes.
And I think that's helpful.
Well, I literally, in my reading today, I had that. So I had a chart reading today.
Look at her. She's fired. She's moving her leg now. She's fired up.
I am fired up about this because I know that this has frustrated you over the course of our time together. I know it has frustrated you. And I know in this last year it has frustrated you because you're like, okay, you're doing social media and like it's going, like you could be so good at it. Like, are you getting more clients? And I'm like, no, because it doesn't really light me up. Like, I can do it. I know I'm good at it and I don't mind doing it sporadically, but it's not what I really want to do forever. Like, that's not the thing. Because that's what I'm meant to get really inspired by these things and do it and then move on from it. But it's to move on from it to help teach it to other people and to make it easy for other people. And that's, I really definitely can do that part of it. So yes, I am getting fired up about this. But anyway, in my reading today, literally she was like, she brought something up and she was talking about like, do you find yourself like with breadcrumbs, like you follow these breadcrumbs, and I'm like, absolutely. Like one thing takes me to the next, and like then before I know it, I've jumped to this next topic that I want to learn about. And she's like, keep doing it. That it is literally what you are meant to do. Keep doing it, and your next phase is coming. I don't know what it is at this particular point in time, but it is coming, and like I don't know what else to tell you. Like you can be frustrated by it, or you can like
I'm not frustrated about
not
it.
worry about it and just
The more I learn about you, the more understanding I am, and the more supportive I'm trying to be. And honestly, it's crazy to say. Like, as long as we've been together, I feel like I've learned more about you in the last year. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like you've communicated so much better with me.
yeah, because I have figured out some of that how I'm meant to communicate and how you are meant to communicate, and things that I need to do to communicate better with you. And it's been so helpful, and I wish I knew more about this when the kids were little. And I would love if mom were still around to be able to ask her, like, as a child, was I like this? Was I you know, I meant to test things. So if you're telling me, hey, don't touch that stove is hot, and I'm like, but is it? I'm going to need to find out for myself. Let me test this myself. And a lot of times, it ends up in a failure. And I think that's where, like, and I'm going to get emotional now, even thinking about it, but that's where, because I am like this, it comes across as making me feel as though I'm failing at things all the time. And I can't ever get it right, and I can't ever find what it is that I'm really meant to do. So I feel that way. Even though I know this is the way I'm meant to work, society does not support that. And I'm sure people say she's flighty. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She's freaking fixing to be 49 years old, and she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. But so I wish it was more known, and I wish more people knew about it, and I wish I knew about it sooner in life. It would have given me some sort of validation, I feel like. And I can stick to things. When it really hits and it clicks, I can stick to things.
Yeah.
So wow, that
Jeez, I didn't see that coming.
Well, you probably should have. So
I should have seen that coming.
Yes, like that is still emotional for me.
So how about we end it with this? So we'll give you a little bit of a teaser. So Annie and I did participated in a, what would you call, like a non-traditional?
It was a clearing.
A cleansing, a non-traditional cleansing today. And we'll go into detail next week. And the reason being is because we're not done with it yet. There's some things you have to do over the course of the next couple of days. But, we're excited to kind of share the experience with you guys. And I don't think it was a surprise, but...
No, it was a surprise.
Well,
for me.
Well, that part of it, but I think you compare you to me, I don't think that was a huge surprise. I think what happened with you was probably a surprise. I was like, shit, you know what I mean? But between you and me, I don't think that was a huge surprise. So anyways,
I'm very, very excited to talk about it. I really wanted to talk about it tonight, but you told me we couldn't.
Well, and only because we're not done. We're not done with it yet.
Okay, let's cut it there. We're not going to go any further.
Okay, but I will say this is an example of the more I listen to you talk about these things, and the more you learn, and the more you share, and the more we communicate with it, that I'm open to something like this now, whereas in 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have been like, this is dumb. There's no way I'm going to do it. There's no way I would have been on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, how long did you ask me to do this podcast? And I was like, no. You know, so, but I think that this kind of non-traditional cleansing was something that I was excited about. I'm glad that we did it together, and I'm glad that we did it with the people that we did it with as well. But it was really cool, and we're excited.
It's non-traditional to you or to us.
That's true.
Not to others.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
anyway, we'll just talk about the whole experience
Yep.
next time. It was very interesting.
Yep.
I'm really excited to share it. So,
So,
anyway, okay, well, I'm gonna go cry this out. So
she's gonna cry
I
it
gotta
out.
go.
Before she goes to cry it out, we need likes, we need subscribes, we
Yes.
need shares. Please share with your friends and family. Remember, this episode, if you're sending it to some friends or family or whatever, give them a heads up. I had a friend I connected with here recently, and she was asking about the podcast and everything else, and she was like, "So I see the E on Spotify. Does that mean I should not listen to it with the kiddos?" I said, "Absolutely not." I said, "We do cuss a little bit. We talk about some adult topics. It's not like crazy or anything like that." I said, "But yeah, kids."
Kind of
Well,
went there
today,
today.
I don't understand. Like, why
Yeah.
did even win?
I really don't know.
I
That
really was
not-
just bringing up the whole
it's
TikTok thing,
not
and
on the agenda.
yeah,
so
we went
it's
down a
not
completely different path.
a
So.
direction that I
Anyhow,
did not
love you
anticipate.
guys. Share, like, subscribe, download, do all those things that we need
And
you
talk
to
to
do.
your spouse about these things.
Yes.
Ask them the same questions. Like if you don't listen to it together,
Ask us questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Send
Ask those
us-
questions to us.
Let us know that you guys talked and this was the outcome. Hopefully
for
it's
sure.
good. You know,
All right, we love you guys.
love you.
Bye.
See you.